How did a leader of a war-torn country amass such an extraordinary fortune? Often referred to as the world's richest president, his wealth is shrouded in mystery, with estimates placing his fortune in the billions. From luxury palaces and private jets to a network of offshore accounts and investments, his lifestyle stands in stark contrast to the lives of ordinary Syrians. Join us as we explore the billionaire lifestyle of Bashar al-Assad, uncovering the lavish luxuries and hidden wealth that makes his life one of the most fascinating and controversial in the world. But before we get into the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share with us, leave them in the comments down below. We look forward to reading them. Bashar al-Assad cultivated a careful, curated image of modesty during his tenure as Syria's leader, presenting a stark contrast to the over-the-top lifestyles of other autocrats in the region. Unlike Iraq's Saddam Hussein with his opulent palaces, or Libya's Muammar Gaddafi and his custom-designed nightclub-inspired private jet, Assad leaned into a simple public persona that gave the impression of a relatively normal family life. In Damascus, the Assad family was known to live in what seemed to be a modest fashion, at least on the surface. Retired businessman Ammar Mayani, who lived near their family residence, remarked that they lived a normal life in front of people. Assad's children attended local schools rather than exclusive international academies, mingling with other well-off but relatively ordinary Damascene families. It wasn't uncommon for locals to see Assad's daughter at a swimming club, casually chatting with her friends, a far cry from the elite detachment often associated with the children of world leaders. The family reportedly drove ordinary cars and dressed in jeans and t-shirts while out in public, underscoring their low-key image. Yet this outward simplicity masked the trappings of privilege and power. Behind the scenes, the Assads enjoyed the comfort of power, from heavily secured residences to access to luxury goods when desired. Their normalcy may have been an effort to connect with citizens and project stability, but it also conveniently obscured the deep inequalities and stark realities of life in Syria under Assad's rule. Let's start from the very beginning. Early life. Bashar al-Assad was born on September 11, 1965 in Damascus, as the second son and third child of Anissa Makholf and Hafez al-Assad. His family name, al-Assad, meaning the lion, carries an air of grandeur, though it was a deliberate upgrade from their original surname, Wash, which translates to the much less majestic Savage. Imagine the career challenges of being a Dr. Savage. His paternal grandfather, Ali al-Assad, initiated this rebranding in 1927 as he climbed the social ladder from peasant to middle class. Bashar's father, Hafez al-Assad, rose from a humble Alawite background to seize power in Syria through the Ba'ath Party's corrective movement, ultimately ruling the country with an iron grip for 3 decades. Under Hafez's watch, Syria was transformed into a dynastic dictatorship where Alawite elites, fiercely loyal to the Assad family, dominated the military, security forces, and Ba'ath Party leadership. His legacy of installing strongmen and reshuffling Syria's political hierarchy left a profound impact on the nation. Bashar grew up with 5 siblings, although tragedy struck his family multiple times. His older sister, Bushra, passed away in infancy, and his younger brother, Mudge, who was intellectually disabled, passed away in 2009 after a long illness. Bashar's other brother, Basal, was groomed as the heir apparent until his untimely death in a car crash in 1994, leaving Bashar to reluctantly step into the political spotlight. Unlike his more assertive siblings, Bashar was quiet, reserved, and seemingly uninterested in politics or the military. Childhood friends and acquaintances described him as timid, soft-spoken, and even shy, a stark contrast to the strongman image associated with his family. While his siblings embraced public and political roles, Bashar pursued a different path, focusing on education and avoiding the limelight. He attended the prestigious Arab-French Al-Hariya school in Damascus for his primary and secondary education. After graduating high school in 1982, he enrolled in Damascus University to study medicine, a choice that reflected his quiet and introspective nature more than any ambition for power. It is said that during his father's presidency, Bashar only entered his father's office once, a sign of the distance between his personality and the demands of political life. Bashar's early life paints a picture of a man who, at least on the surface, appeared to have little interest in the power and privilege that would later define his role on the world stage. However, fate and, well, family circumstances would soon thrust him into a position he never sought, setting the stage for his transformation from soft-spoken doctor to a wealthy authoritarian leader. Career switch. In 1988, Bashar al-Assad graduated from medical school and began his career as an army doctor at the Tishrin military hospital on the outskirts of Damascus. 4 years later, he moved to London to pursue postgraduate training in ophthalmology at the Western Eye Hospital. His time in London gave him a somewhat unexpected reputation as a geeky IT guy, a far cry from the political powerhouse he would later become. Back then, Bashar had little interest in politics. His older brother, Bashar, had been groomed as the heir apparent to their father, Hafez al-Assad. However, fate took a dramatic turn in 1994 when Bashar died in a car accident. Bashar was abruptly recalled to Syria, where his life pivoted from quiet medical practice to the intricate web of political succession. Almost immediately, state propaganda began rebranding him as the hope of the masses, preparing the Syrian public for the continuation of the Assad dynasty under a new face. Hafez wasted no time molding Bashar into the next leader, employing a meticulous three-pronged approach, bolstering his support within the military and security forces, crafting a favorable public image, and giving him an intense crash course in governance. Bashar joined the military academy in Homs and climbed the ranks at lightning speed, becoming a colonel of the elite Syrian Republic Guard by 1999. Key military figures loyal to the old guard were quietly retired, making way for younger Alawite officials loyal to Bashar. Simultaneously, Bashar took on public-facing roles to build his image as a modernizer. He led campaigns against corruption, a move that conveniently saw several of his political rivals prosecuted. He also became the head of the Syrian Computer Society, playing a role in introducing the internet to Syria, a move that burnished his image as a reformist in the eyes of the tech-savvy and the younger generations. By 2000, when Hafez al-Assad passed away, the stage was set for Bashar's seamless transition to power, a shift orchestrated with precision, loyalty, and a hefty dose of political maneuvering. Luxury Palace. Bashar al-Assad's lifestyle paints a vivid picture of calculated opulence, blending public simplicity with the private extravagance that only absolute power can afford. His squat, modernist palace, perched high in the mountains above Damascus, offered breathtaking views of the Syrian capital, an iconic contrast to the chaos and hardship endured by much of the population below. The master bedroom alone was a microcosm of this quiet luxury. Guarded by bulletproof doors several inches thick, it featured recessed lighting that softly illuminated intricate cornicing and a plush, dimpled headboard. The palace's interior boasted sweeping marble staircases with still-wrapped carpets and an imposing dining room with a table large enough for diplomatic banquets or, perhaps, lavish family dinners. Chandeliers crafted from the finest crystal illuminated the space, their brilliance reflecting off the pristine, newly renovated surfaces. True to the hallmark of a ruler planning for the long haul, the palace catered to every imaginable convenience. A private doctor's surgery ensured that medical care was always at hand, while a dedicated barber's room featured a chrome and leather chair that exuded authority even in its craftsmanship. For quieter moments, an expansive wood-paneled library awaited, complete with a rolling ladder to reach its utmost shelves. Its collection ranged from storybooks for toddlers to travel guides to Uruguay, Croatia, and Sudan. Perhaps a glimpse into the family's aspirational jet-set lifestyle. These spaces weren't just for living. They were monuments to a legacy that Assad seemed determined to cement. Well, until he couldn't. But that's a story for another day. Luxury cars. Bashar al-Assad's love for extravagance extended far beyond the gilded halls of his palace. It also roared to life in his collection of luxury cars that could rival any billionaire's garage. Hidden away in the compound of the presidential palace were several garages filled with automotive treasures, a testament to his penchant for the finer things in life. Among the lineup were Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Aston Martins, including a rare Ferrari F50, one of only 349 ever made. For context, an F-50 recently fetched over $5.5 million at a Sotheby's auction, making this not just a car but a symbol of jaw-dropping exclusivity. Walking through the garages, one might think they had stepped into a scene from Fast and Furious Dictator Edition. But the collection didn't stop there. Beyond the gleaming sports cars, the compound featured dozens of armored vehicles. Rows upon rows of bulletproof rides hinted at a mix of paranoia and preparation. Perhaps Assad envisioned a dramatic escape worthy of an action film. Classic cars also made their way into the collection, showcasing a taste for both speed and history. The sheer volume of vehicles was staggering. It begged the question, how many cars does one actually need? For Assad, apparently, the answer was more than you'd think. His garages weren't just storage spaces, they were monuments to excess, each car reflecting a life lived far removed from the struggles of the Syrian people. It's safe to say that when it came to cars, Assad's philosophy was go big or go home, even if home was a fortress perched high above Damascus. Net worth. The Assad family's net wealth, estimated by the US State Department in a 2022 report to Congress, highlights a stark disparity between their cultivated image of modesty and the reality of their financial empire. According to the report, the family's wealth was valued at up to £1.6 billion. This figure, however, was presented as a rough estimate, acknowledging the nature of their assets. Much of their fortune is believed to be hidden in an intricate web of offshore accounts, sprawling real estate portfolios, corporations, and tax havens designed to evade scrutiny. This concealed wealth underscores the sharp contrast between the Assad's public portrayal of simplicity and the realities of their financial standing. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe.